we're gonna get started with the news. First shout out is to Zia Avante Garde. She is the first African American to win the National Spelling Bee contest.
Woo-hoo, shout out, yeah.
Shout out to her, man. And yo, LSU
Who said black people don't read?
I know, right? And LSU just said that they're gonna give her a full ride scholarship. I was like, damn, at 14, she's getting a full ride already. So
she's getting
because she's an athlete too.
Yeah,
that's why
she's an athlete too.
Yeah. You're right. She owns like 3 Guinness Book of Records for some basketball tricks,
bouncing basketballs and stuff. Yeah.
But nah, man, shout out to her, man. Hopefully, she stays within the community and do wonderful things. All right, so
stay within the community. You mean marry black?
Yeah, marry black.
Wow, that's racist.
Wow, that's racist.
I don't care.
Racist.
I don't care.
I'll tell you this. I've worked with a lot of students. She has a great spirit about her, man.
She's very sweet, bro. I was watching a lot of interviews.
You can see that.
Yeah,
she got a great spirit, great aura.
Yeah.
So
parents did a wonderful job with her, man. I hope
and most people generally when they're doing a spelling bee, they focus on that. That script spelling bee is so big, like they focus on that from like kind of day one when they're born, like you're going to do this, and a lot of them don't do other things. They just train for the spelling bee, learning all the Latin roots and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Fun fact though, her spelling coach was also the spelling coach of the runner-up too. So
fun fact. A few years ago they made they did a premonition and made a movie about her without even knowing it was going to be her.
With what's that young lady's name?
Achille and the Bee.
Yes, thank you, brother.
Keke
Palmer. Yeah.
There's a job called spelling coach.
Yeah.
That's big,
only in America.
Is big.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I was reading
no excuse not to make money in America if you can get paid to teach people to spell words. Oh my God, only in America. I thought it was called a dictionary, but okay.
Nah, man, she has a. I was stunned too. I'm not gonna front. I didn't. Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize these people, like these kids, have spelling coaches, bro.
Yeah, they train. That's what I'm saying. Is they like athletes, bro.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to understand.
It's like an Olympics of the mind. That's all.
Don't get me wrong. I understand. The ability to have quite the repertoire and be great with your vernacular because you can spell and so forth and so on. But what is the career of a speller? Like, where does that lead?
Good question.
That's a good question.
I'm just like, when she goes to college, is she going to major in spelling?
Battle rapper.
I hate you. I hate you.
Come on, Smith, think of something, brother.
Oh no. I'm saying maybe there are the people who do the who put the new words in a goddamn dictionary every year. I don't know. I'm trying to think. They do. I want to actually table that because I want to.
Yeah, somebody follow that.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up. I'll report.
That might just be like an Olympic athlete where you just get endorsements and
because my whole thing is if LSU is going to give you a full ride, not based on your academics, not based on your ability to spell, not read, write, do mathematics, understand science, not any of that. Just your ability to put words together in the correct order. What exactly is the
letters in the correct order?
I'm sorry, letters. You're correct. Yeah. Letters in the correct order. What exactly is the I don't want to say what the skill is in that, but
I was about to say,
where does that lead?
It's a skill set, though.
Yeah, but it's like other than spell check, what is that skill set good for?
I would say this. Maybe.
But I think it is. I think it shows a certain discipline.
Exactly. I was about to say
discipline. I think it shows a school that if you're willing to do this at a young age, at 6th grade and 5th grade and 8th grade, and you're willing to go that hard and put that kind of time in, that you are going to be great. Like
not necessarily.
So, listen to what I'm saying. The school is probably thinking that. I'm not saying that, but the
Okay,
I agree with Smith. Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. What the thought process might be.
Yeah,
but the whole thing is like that almost seems faulty because just because I am great at let's say I'm Usain Bolt and I can run, let's say 100-yard meter, 400, 800, whatever the case is. Just because I'm a great runner there doesn't mean that same skill can be applied in marathon running. You understand what I'm saying? Just because they're related doesn't mean that skill, transfers over into a completely different dynamic.
All right. Well,
the dynamic is still that of being disciplined to do the studies. I think.
Yeah.
I would say
this.
Besides just being,
but you could apply that to someone you could apply that to a kid that's in karate. You could apply that to a kid that's in mathematics. You could apply that to anyone that has a discipline.
All right. So we could do this. We could look at the past national spelling bee champions and see where they're at now, and see exactly. Not saying that all historical performance indicates the future, but
it gives you an idea.
It gives you an idea. So if we see that 70% of these national spelling bee champions have, gone on and become doctors and lawyers and something great, then that might be indicative of.
I think they have. I think I remember looking at some of that shit, like where are they now?
They have a certain drive, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is assumed. You have assumed intelligence in that situation. Like niggas who can spell.
She's gonna do something great, bro. She's gonna be wonderful, man. She's gonna I know there was talks of her wanting to go into the NBA. I'm like, man, with a brain like that, like you said, Smith, that diligence, I think she's better off being like a scientist or some shit.
She can still do both, though.
She can still do both. And at the end of
like 35.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, this is the 92nd year. So I'm hearing that other part, Shu, but this is the 92nd year. This shit ain't going away. It's just the first time the African American won it.
No, I don't want it to go away. I'm just trying to understand.
No, what I'm saying is it's so big that and it's lucrative for a college or somebody. It's another part of the secret society that we don't know much about because we didn't go to the Scripps thing. So it's another part that they get a lot of perks and things. I know that happens.
And
it's similar to ACTO in the sense where it's the Olympics of the mind. So it's another part that we just don't know. We can't make that connection right now.
Now, here's another thing: is the fact of like, so they're offering her a full scholarship or a full ride, whatever the case is, right? Is that standard with the spelling bee? Because
I don't know. Like we got to look at the past.
Here's the thing: if they're making an exception, because she is a African American, I kind of take fault.
I
feel a little salty about that only because it's like I hate the fact of like people act like because African Americans are disadvantaged that they don't have these skills and abilities and the possibility if given the opportunity. You see what I'm saying?
I think historically, once you spot talent, these colleges are on it. Like they do this for even athletics. Bruh, you got young ass kids at 13 years old being offered partial scholarships to these collegiate schools.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like
I think part of it too is because she's that athletic phenomenon. They're like, yo, she's gonna either get an athletic or academic scholarship.
Exactly. It got to be one of exactly.
Yeah. Bro. And that athlete shit, you hit right on the head. LeBron James' son, that nigga got offers when he was in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
So a lot of dudes is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They give them parades and all that shit though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can y'all mute this nigga Schubert while he crunching on this fucking sandwich out? Like, is this necessary to get? Do we have to record that?
Haters gonna hate.
All right, man. Since we press for time.
Yeah, since we press for time.
We're gonna do one of the two stories.
2 keys. They say it's the National Spelling Bee, but that shit is open to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
This shit is bigger than what we think.
That's a dumbass name for it. Kind of like rotisserie.
Yes. The level of pettiness today is crazy.
Agreed.
All right,
Agreed.
man. I got 1 or 2 stories. I mean, I got 2 stories. You guys got to pick one just because of time constraints.
Nah, bro. You pick it.
Dude, it might.
Don't even tell us what the second one is, because this nigga want to do both, bro.
Go ahead, Cass.
Look.
All right,
I'm just gonna read the titles, and you guys go off the titles.
Henry, let him read the titles.
Smith, you choose.
One headline is homeschool applications double in California. The second headline is Amazon want to monitor you in your sleep using radar for your benefit.
Amazon.
I like Amazon.
Y'all want to do the Amazon? All right. Amazon.
Yeah, fuck them kids in California. My bad.
Amazon wants to monitor you in your sleep using radar for your benefit. Amazon Inc. has won U.S. permission to use radar to monitor consumers' sleep habits. The FCC, which stands for the Federal Communications Commission, on Friday granted Amazon approval to use radar sensor to sense motion and enable contactless sleep tracing functionalities. Amazon on June 22nd asked the FCC, which regulates airwaves, uses for permission to market a device that uses radar. The technology captures movement in 3 dimensions, enabling a user to control its features through simple gestures and movements, the company said in a filing. The capability, according to Amazon, could help people with mobility, speech, and tactical impairments. It could monitor sleep with a high degree of precision. The FCC earlier granted similar permission to Google for radar to enable touchless control of Pixel smartphones, the agency said in its letter approving Amazon request. So, what do we think about Amazon's ability to monitor our sleep?
I think we need to go backwards. We're pushing shit too far. We've always talked about Big Brother earlier. But to have motherfuckers already... Okay, so the iPhone already invades into the droids and the Alexa and all that other shit. The radar in your house to monitor your sleep. First of all, what happened to the sleep studies? Because my aunt goes and gets sleep studies, and so does my man. So if they're really having that problem, there's this thing called the sleep study that they can do. Whereas you're talking about a radar going through... Nah, I don't like the idea. I'm good. I don't like the idea at all. I had something else to say, but I'm good with that. That's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, I say that anytime they talk about like monitoring us for one thing, I kind of feel like it's for something else. Not necessarily that they're going to like spy on us right away, but I think it's more like a just in case. Like, yeah, we're gonna use this shit for sleeping now, but just in case we need to like send fucking killer drones to this nigga or find something. Like, I always feel like there's like underlying motive that for why these niggas want to track us. I really don't understand how people, I don't know. It's just crazy how like social media in general, and I know Amazon isn't necessarily social media, but just how we allow ourselves and just open ourselves to just be tracked like so willingly. The only thing I can honestly say before my time's up is like, I'd be cool with niggas being able to track me through my phone. But outside of that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But aside from that, like, man, y'all niggas don't need to, like, it's too much. What's the purpose?
Well, it told you the purpose. Well,
I don't think
that purpose is not.
I think the purpose is worth it though. Yeah, I was about to say.
Because they could do sleep studies. I'm gonna still say that even if you're ailing and you're like handicapped, they have ways to make that happen. So I don't understand why you need a radar. God damn, when I think of a radar, and I'm thinking about being in the up top and looking at the radar, I'm looking at the things pinging on there. Like, why the hell do you...
Yeah. Black Zeus, you want me to go, or you want to go last?
So,
your mic, bring your mic down.
I'm with the crowd. I'm with the rest of the crew. Like,
yeah,
I'm not a fan of the idea at all. I mean, if you that sucker, I mean, individual that feels like, yeah, I want Amazon to have a radar up my butt while I'm in my bed where I'm jerking off or fucking or whatever the hell I'm doing, more power to you, homie. More power to you. But like I'm like we already have devices that like these smartwatches that monitor your sleep.
Exactly.
Or this, that, and the other. Now we need to actually go as far as like having a satellite up our behinds and watching us from up overhead. Like, why? Like that does not, produce better sleep. It does not. What is the benefit? Like what is truly the benefit of you spying on me in my sleep? Like what is the purpose of that in my home, in my sanctuary? Is there no sovereignty whatsoever? Is that we're just slowly giving away our sovereignty?
Exactly, the privacy aspect of it. To be honest, I'm more curious to see what that device looks like. Granted, it was a very vague article. I saw it on numerous platforms, but I want to understand this technology better, because how are they going to pull this off? It make it sound as though that you don't necessarily need to have the device in your house to begin with.
No,
yeah, it's the eye in the sky.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's a radar that.
So it's just like
the tech is already here for the to look at us from the ground.
Exactly.
And how does this thing distinguish from if my wife signs up for this? How to distinguish from my wife, if me being in the bed, or my wife being in the bed, or my son, having a bad dream and sleeping, in the bed with us or something.
That's exactly.
That's too much.
I'm just trying to understand that technology, because that sounds too much.
It's not too much. What happens is you have to get the chip that they're going to put in you, and that's how it distinguish you from your wife.
Oh, okay. So
they're moving to this dystopian society. I get it.
So it's kind of like the low jack that they put in dogs. It's kind of like the low jack system that they put in dogs in case your high pedigree dog gets kidnapped. Oh, we can low jack that dog and tell you exactly who kidnapped them. Exactly. Oh, that makes sense. That sounds like that doesn't sound conspiracy like.
What you about to say, Cal?
It really just seems like these niggas was trying to do this shit already and ran into like a loophole where it's like, damn, now we really got to ask these niggas, is it okay? Because it seems like, especially if it don't have to be in the house already, like, I don't know. I'm not with it.
Smith, how do you think they're going to administer the chip? Because
you're going to administer it. You're going to go and get it. They're going to give you a needle or something. You're going to go and get it because you, as Black Zeus just said, you're giving away your sovereignty. You're so inundated with being on Facebook and Instagram that you don't care about none of that. You don't care what's going on around you. You're so into this box right here that you don't give a fuck that you're losing rights and privacy. That's a big privacy issue.
It is, bro. And the fact that the FCC gave it to Amazon and Google, bro, I don't know, man. It's bad enough Google knows you ever go into Google and they know how to write your email for you?
And then look at the companies. Look at the companies. We already read about oligarchies and monopolies and all. Look at the companies, man.
You're right, Smith. Yeah.
So what happens when they say, well, you can't go on Google anymore, Cash, unless you get this chip so we can do this radar thing? Because we're a private company, we don't have to let you on.
That's
you
true.
See how that works?
You don't have to
understand that. They don't have to let you on the internet. I'm just saying, don't get it twisted. You can get blocked like the president did and shit.
Damn, that's true. You're right.
Don't get it twisted.
You're right. And society has moved in such a way that you can't even imagine society now without the internet.
Yeah, see? And that's where they get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In fact, we should move this conversation off the internet right now because they're listening.
While they're listening. Like that, Black Zeus.
That's just crazy, bro. But man, Amazon is they were already spying on us, but the fact that they got approval for this shit, I don't know.
Listen, I told you a long time ago, they trying to turn this into United States of Amazon.
I just don't understand. What's their outside of maybe financial to know what people actually like or what they doing like their everyday life? What's the purpose of spying on every single person?
World
domination. Or having access to them.
World dominance.
Well, I take it one conspiracy theory up with Smith. You got Elon, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos trying to go to outer space. Who knows what the fuck they're going to be doing out there?
But why do they need to have access to every person?
Because we need to see who the fuck they're taking with them when this fucking Earth goes boom, brother. Yeah, well, you don't know this shit by now?
But they not taking the everyday person.
The Earth is dying. The Earth is dying.
They're not taking the everyday person though.
That's why they need that chip to check your DNA and see if you're good enough.
Exactly.
If you're part of the superior race.
Exactly. If you carry a superior genetics, like Schubert was saying, if your genetics
to start the new humankind
on
Mars.
I'm staying here, yo.
No, check it out, Henry. We go in, we look at Black Zeus's search history. We know what kind of individual he is, what he looks at. We got all of his information. We can look at his Facebook page. We see what kind of people he deal with and what kind of person he is based off of the information that he has provided for us.
I get that, but the everyday person, ain't getting that.
We get our own snapshot, and then we decide whether he is suitable enough to go on this shuttle.
Yo, Here's what they looking at, They looking at Zeus. They gonna watch all his clips of weightlifting and be like, yep, he gonna be a fucking good ass slave when we get up to the fucking space station. Nigga, I'm staying here on Earth that's dying, bro. Cause for all we know, them niggas could be low down racist. When we get up in that bitch and they take it back to old times, nigga, I'll take my chances with Earth. So y'all niggas ain't gonna fucking track me, bro. Fuck that.
But the whole thing is his thing. You wrong, because they won't take Black Zeus. They gonna take his offspring. Okay, that's what has the future. You don't take the old mule. You take the young mule. All right.
Yeah, you don't take the old mule that's going to be trying to teach.
You don't take the old mule. You don't take the old mule that already have his life gone. You take the young mule. Yeah. You know.
It's about to be some real dystopian shit, bro.
Yeah.
It's really
all this information.
That's how you do that. You check the genetics of the mom and the pops, and all right, you see what their sleeping habits are. You see what their growth rate. You see what their. You know how you ever taken one of those surveys.
You froze, or is that my phone?
Yeah, he froze, bro.
Now, you ever take one of them surveys where you freeze in the middle? What the fuck you saying?
You know what? Damn you, Kel.
So hear me with this before we move on. Hear me with this, right? So this is how this works. They take all this information. The world is doing that thing where it's ending. They only could take X amount of people. They do a lottery system, but the lottery is rigged because they already have the information that they needed to.
Yep.
Damn, we talking some 2012 shit. We talking 2012 shit.
Bruh,
that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one when but that's what you got to remember. That's the steps that they have to take. That's what they do. Yeah. So in order to use this information, it's very easy to say, hey, we're going to put the world or Americans in a lottery. However, the lottery is already fixed. So it wouldn't make a difference. But you think you got a chance.
Yeah.
And niggas already know who they taking. And a lot of it, too, is going to come with a price. Niggas got to be able to pay.
Well, they might not necessarily know at this moment, but this sleeping radar detection shit might
further allow. Yes. The sleeping radar detection will allow you to get a better outlook on it.
Yeah. You know.
Fucking radar to detect it. Go ahead, man. Move on.
All right, man. We switching it up. We've done something interesting. We are not doing a book review. We're doing a movie review. So this week, my man Smith chose Fatherhood as his movie review. And let's go into it, Smith. Quick synopsis of Fatherhood.
Fatherhood is a movie about a widowed father a widowed single father, actually, who just lost his wife as his baby just came into the world. So it takes him on trials and tribulations to see if he's suitable enough or if he can take care of his own.
Great synopsis. All right, Smith, we're going to start off with your question. All right, Matt's boss doubted that Matt could raise a child on his own. When asked why, Matt's boss states that women have patience, emotional responsibility, and breasts, and told Matt easing a child was brutal. Why is it
raising a child? My fault.
Yeah, raising a child is was brutal. Why is it an immediate assumption that a man cannot raise a child on his own?
I go first. I think that's the assumption because I don't want to say that's how society is, but it's assumed that the woman is normally the caregiver. And that the guy is just, or the male or the dad is more so the breadwinner. I'm going to work while you're taking care of the kids. The part of taking care of the kids that I understand as a male is, coming home, playing with them for a little bit. Maybe if it has something to do with sports. I just think that the perception is that we lack the nurturing part that goes along with it.
I don't know if we necessarily like the nurturing part. I think that you try to train guys to be like that. So it wasn't just that his boss said that Matt's boss said that. The only person that didn't say that to Matt, because his mother-in-law said that to him also, but the only person that didn't say that to Matt was his mother. Because the mother's love for a son is just that. So she believed in her son and just told him basically you got to step up. I think that the problem comes in where we still do exactly what you said, Henry. We're still looking at society, and we're looking at 1950s and shit. We're past that. So you have situations where you have two men in the household now. I'm just trying to figure this out. So you got two men in the household. One man is staying home and take care of the kids, or they both could be going out. I don't know the structural arrangement. But to just assume that a father, so to say that the mother could do all of those things and a father could not, that's the part that I have an issue with. You know what I mean? To just make that assumption that, oh, it's so hard. But we've had this conversation. Is it hard to be a stay-at-home parent? You know what I mean? Is it hard to be to raise a child? Now the other part is this. Now I definitely think this. You still need the two parents. So where Matt would have, he should have still used the family structure, but I still think you need the two parents. But I think that you shouldn't have told him that he couldn't do it on his own. And one thing I wanted, this last part, the guy told Matt that he is happy, not his boss. The other guy told Matt, I'm happy when I only get my kids for the weekend and they gone. And he's like, well, Dad, I guess your kids feel the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That white guy, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I put a lot of thought into this because like the same point, really irked me through the whole movie, and it really bothered me, and I had to really put some thought to it. And if you're looking at prehistorically, whole thing is the male usually did the hunting and and the building, and the female typically did the nurturing and taking care of the child, because she was the one. She wasn't as strong as he is, and she, like, biologically speaking, a male is a better hunter, is a better builder because he has the strength, he has the aggression, while a woman typically is a better nurturer because obviously she can make milk, and she typically is not as aggressive as a male. But we are no longer in the savannah, and we are not in that dynamic. And the whole thing is, we are still in this mental state of thinking that's what the dynamic is. Like, oh, a man should go out, a real man, go out there and make the money and this, that, and the other. But same token, you got women that complain about, oh, it's so hard raising a child. But if you believe that we're all biologically built that way, you shouldn't complain about it. That's just what it is. But the whole thing is that we are in a civilized society where, a man is just as capable as a woman in taking care of and raising a child. We have developed to a point where, either one can do the job. Either one can do the job. Beyond pregnancy and breastfeeding, there's nothing a woman can do for a child that a man cannot. There's nothing that a woman could do for a child that a man cannot. And but we're just still in this mental state of thinking that this is, these are the gender roles. A male does this and a female does that. But the whole thing is very conflicting with this whole new society where women want to be the hero and the victim by being, oh, I'm the mother and this, that, and the other. But it's the hardships of being a mother. Okay, then you go out there and work and let the father stay at home and take care of the child. Oh, he can't do it like I can. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have it both ways. You got to make some, decisions. But the whole thing is I personally took some offense to it, specifically because he was a black man, specifically because he's a black man, and portrays more of this image where black men are not, fathers, or not capable of being the fathers that their children need. That's just me personally, though.
Okay.
Cass, did you go already? Okay,
no, I did not. So A couple of things. I think Smith, you brought up an excellent point in regards of the joy of the infancy of raising a child. Using like an anecdotal story. So, Jason, our former IBBC participant, he recently just had a child, right?
Damn
And
shade.
so he's a father now, and he shared something that was interesting. He was just like he's happy to be a father, but like he looks more forward to once his child become 2-3 years old, where he could really interact with his child. And what Smith touched on is just like how mothers instinctively love those moments of like breastfeeding and that aspect of nurturing. And I think a lot of times, you see that a lot play itself out. I had a couple of colleagues who said that, when they became newly fathers, they're just like, it's great, but man, I can't wait till he or she becomes 3, 4, 5 years old where they could really interact. So I think, society as a whole take that information and it's just like, yeah, fathers could do it, but like, do they naturally find joy in doing that? I think that's one of the presumptions in regards to like this movie here is just like him just gonna struggle from the onslaught. And then also you could compare it to like other species. When you look at other species of animals, typically is always the mother gender that's always raising the child. So I just think that we just have a lot of information out here as to making that sort of educated guess as to why men might struggle initially, even though, yes, like Schubert said, we have all of this information, we have all the resources now to equally raise a child. I just think that from people's anecdotal experience, as well as looking at how other species of animals, typically who's the gender role that typically raises a child. So I don't take offense to it. It is what it is. It doesn't necessarily indicate whether or not you're going to be a shitty father or not in raising a child. It's just something that we just presume.
I think part of it too, though, and Smith, I remember I'm just listening to what you said. I don't know if you may say it as well, but I don't think that in this situation, I don't think that in this specific situation they would doubt him because that he couldn't be a stay-at-home dad. It's like, how are you going to be able to work and manage the kid as well? Like, I think that was the biggest thing. So, like,
but that question is never presented to women, though.
Women, yeah, I was going to say nobody ever says that to a woman.
But I believe it's that coupled with all the answers that we're given, where it's like we already have these thoughts where it's like, damn, I want the kid to be older, or society has painted the picture that the male has this role already, what it looks like. So now, on top of that, you not only have to juggle this demanding job where you were bringing home all the money, but now you also got to take on roles that you're not typically used to.
Expected to take.
Yeah. Like, I think that's where it come from. If he was just going to be the house dad, I don't think everybody would be down with him. If he was the stay-at-home husband, I'm trying to say.
Okay.
No, it wasn't the stay-at-home husband. Remember, he was going to be a single father. And it's this single father thing. It wasn't just to be a stay-at-home husband.
Don't forget, his biggest adversary was his mother-in-law, who right from the beginning, she had said that, that he was childish and immature.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, I think with her, it didn't necessarily have to do with the fact that he was a single father. I don't think she liked the nigga from the jump. Like,
even if that's the case, that is still his child, and she still
it's still his child. Exactly.
She crossed the line, constantly, making decisions for him.
You can't.
We're not, which were not in her.
Oh, we
like just the fact that she had the
baby. How the hell you can't say? Oh, we decided that we'll take care of the baby.
Who are you to make that decision?
How do you want to make that decision? You know what I mean? Like, how
this nigga was like, he was like, let me think about it.
And step out
about it.
Yeah, like what? Like, how are you going to come at me like that? And I just lost my wife. Like, why? Come on, man, please. But I think Jason has heard that a lot, and I think he's using that as a cop out. I don't know him per se personally like that, but I'm gonna say I think he's using that as a cop out. I think when you hear things over and over, they become belief, and it's easy for that to happen. So to say, "Oh, I'll be in his life when he's 2 and 3," what's wrong with now? This is when you're building that. You know what I mean? This is where you build the emotional part. This is where your son or daughter decides, hey, my dad has been here from day one, and I have an emotional attachment. That's how my kids have with me. People be like, yo, why your kids? Because from day one, it wasn't, oh, I'm gonna wait until you two to start picking you up and playing with you. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I don't think it's in that manner. And of course, it's not
for most guys. It is because again, it's the diaper change, and I don't want to be responsible for this kid as a baby. I'm gonna wait till I get older, and then I'll be responsible. That's bullshit. As a father,
you know what?
Because I'll tell you, you know, and Smith can probably touch on this as a father too. You know, me personally, in my experience, you know, from day one, you know, in the hospital to when he came home, I was the one that was changing diapers, wiping butts, giving baths, feeding, this, that, and the other, you know, like in the middle of the night and in the middle of the day, whatever the case is, blah, blah, blah. And I never felt like, oh man, this is a chore, or this is overwhelming, or this. No, I felt like, yo, this is my child. This is my offspring. This is my bloodline, my family. You know, I would do it, you know, I would do it not just willingly, but joyfully, proudly. You know,
I get that, but I think
saying that I'm a miss this, but I don't want you to pee on me, but I do want you to pee on me when I pull a pinball, just so I can be like, yo, man, I remember this one time when you was like,
exactly, like everybody has that story,
yeah.
You know,
I can't tell those stories if I'm not invested from the beginning.
I'm not saying that for some fathers don't necessarily engage in that. I think for some fathers, they look more forward to certain years or aspects of a child's life.
But because they do that, they
don't put the same. Yeah, you don't put the same.
They're disengaging, bruh. Trust me.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I'm not in those households. I'm not in those households, but it's just that, you know, you hear that a lot, and I'm not. And to be honest, and it doesn't make, to me, in my eyes, it doesn't necessarily, because I've seen some of these kids, and you know, and their relationship now, and it's still one of the greatest relationships I've seen. Like one of my friends, Scott, he's a wonderful dad, but he talks about like, yo, his kids are in their teens, and he talks about like, yo, the greatest moments when they started walking and talking, and it's just like there's different dynamics of.
So let me give a little nuance to that. All right, there's a nuance to that. Here's the thing: when they start walking and talking, and they start becoming an individual, that is a very special moment in a child's life, because you start understanding their personality, who they are, what they like, what they don't like. You know, you have little jokes and innuendos that you have with your kid that, you know, are just within you and, you know, your kid and everything. You're developing a relationship with your kid versus just being your kid and you taking care of them. Now, the whole thing is that being said, does not mean that during the time of, you know, that very infancy, that you're not proud to do the job of being a father. You're still proud to do the job. And the thing is that I think that the negative influence, I won't say negative, but certain aspects get blown up. Same way we look at when you hear in the social justice aspect. The top percentage of men are the top earners in the world are men. You're talking about the 1%. What about the other 99% that are going to work, working 9 to 5, busting their ass? You're completely negating the 90 some odd percent and looking at this small minority. And that's the thing, is the fact that when you talk about these subjects, it's the small minority that gets the attention. It's not the majority. And that's the sad thing about it, especially for men, is that when it comes to men, the minority of negative is what comes to the forefront, and the majority of the positive falls in the background. And if you dare speak about it, it's like you're going against the dogma of society. And how dare you say this and that and the other? So much like the other way around with women, if you talk about the minority of women that are like, you know, great at something, it becomes a blank statement. All women are great mothers. And we don't ever say, well, that's not true. We don't say that's not true. You know, we just put that on on every. You see what I'm saying? I see what you're saying. I'm just trying to make the connection. I'm saying that I think a lot of the pushback, hypothetically speaking, if if Liz had passed away where Maddie was 10 years old, I don't think Kevin Hart character Matt would have gotten a lot of pushback
as opposed to when Liz died relatively short after her delivery.
I don't believe that.
I that's my opinion, because I think the problem is that Maddie was she was an infant, and I think that was the crux of this situation. I believe, this is my own personal opinion, but I believe if Maddie was like 10 years old, because I have a colleague who's a widower, was a widower, he'd be married. If Maddie was 10 years old when Liz passed away, I don't think he would have gotten his mother-in-law to say, well, Maddie needs to come with me and stuff like that. I think it's the idea of you raising an infant child.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say that's probably situational also.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Smith.
No, you don't understand the life that he had from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And you don't understand the dynamic that he had with the mother-in-law through this 10 years, because he was working. Maybe he was traveling and he was never around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you're right.
Just say that.
I know I can't say that, but what I'm saying is, it's just like, I think the complexity of the situation was like, you're having an infant child right off the rip by yourself.
Yeah, but the whole thing is,
the situation is
that was
from the parent.
If you remember,
this is the only biological parent, and you're trying to take the child away.
Yeah,
and that was a very small section of the film. That was the shortest part of the film. It's like, pretty much from the birth and the loss of the mother, the birth of the child, loss of the mother, to the very first visit with the pediatrician, which is pretty quick. It's like, that's a few months. That's I think that's within the 3 months or first 3 to 6 months, something like that, is where you see the pediatrician, and they said, he's the child's doing well, keep doing what you're doing. And then after that, they moved on. Here she is years later,
10 years old, 7, 8 years old. Yeah.
See, so the whole thing is, I don't think it's just the infancy thing. I think it's strictly just the fact of that men are not seen as capable parents.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is that men are not seen as capable parent. It's like, men can go to work and men can pay bills and this, that, and the other. So, for instance, it's like I have a
child.
I have a. Go ahead.
That's what, like.
Cal, your mic.
Yeah, I'm like, is he DJing?
Yeah, talk about me freezing.
Yeah, right.
Can you hear me?
Keep talking, bro.
Yeah, you should have got that cheap microphone.
Yeah, that Radio Shack ass mic.
No, my job gave it to me for free.
See, cheap.
Hey.
I don't think it was that. I had the fan on. But I think that
the fan throws off your mic. Wow.
Yeah. Y'all gonna let me answer my fucking? Go ahead. Go on. Let's
get
talk about my microphone.
Kel, go ahead, brother.
Let's talk about my microphone.
I want to hear Kel. Go ahead, brother.
I want to hear him too. Tell him stop you with a cheap mic.
10:55. All right, y'all got 10 more minutes. Fuck, y'all want to spend 10 minutes talking about the mic? Be my fucking guest. I think that society, and we kind of did this to ourselves too. The male has we've been presented as the breadwinner who doesn't really. Even when I think about, and I know that it's not like realistic, but like the first thing that pops into my head when I think about dads are like the dude who is doing the sports with the kids, coming to the games, it's making sure that ain't nobody messing with their daughter. Like that's not the only thing that entails the role of father, but those are like the highlights that like stick out.
You right, Kel. That's dad. That's not fatherhood.
Even like when I think about having a kid, the one thing that I look forward to the most isn't like the first steps or the first word. It's like watching them play sports and
that was my point. Exactly.
And that's not saying that I don't enjoy changing the diaper or holding them and all of that. It's just like my highlight is those aspects. Seeing them win the spelling.
You would like those. You would like that to be those aspects, but we're not understanding how fast our society is moving and changing, and to assume that your child will be interested in sports is an assumption.
No, but whatever.
Well, I think he's talking about just the interaction aspect.
But remember what I said. But remember what I said before is that when that child is an infant, that child's a blank slate. All right. So the whole thing is, it's like until that child starts developing and actually developing a personality and knowing the difference between mommy and daddy, and you seeing who they are, anybody's going to feel like, oh, I want to know. It's just like anybody in the street, right? When you see people in the street, they're complete strangers. But after you've gotten to know them and you're like, oh, that's Tariq, that's Kelvin, this, that, and the other. You have a personality and a profile behind the person to have a connection with them.
But I think
before that,
even if it's go ahead, finish your thought, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that before that, the child is basically a blank slate. But we're not talking about like, everyone looks forward to all of that. Mothers and fathers look forward to seeing their child do this and become that and this, that. We all do. But the whole thing is we're talking about the capability of being a parent from the stage of infancy all the way through. We're not just talking about.
Infancy stage is a very big stage. And I'm talking about like science-wise, like doctor-wise, the infancy stage is a very big stage of development. And I'm just saying, for males to not really understand that and to try to fast forward the time, because some males don't understand that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They try to fast forward the time. I had guys that said, oh, I can't wait till my child is graduating before they have any baby. And it's like, yo, you already got your child graduating. Like, you didn't even, that takes a lot to get to that point. You know what I mean?
And to that point,
just about, and yeah, I get that, when they get 2 and 3, but this is what I do know also. People think that they can just turn that shit on. And that's the scary part for me when people say, I'm gonna wait till a certain age, because you can't just turn it on like that. It doesn't happen like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly, Smith. And to that point, I think this is what Kelvin is saying. It's just like a lot of fathers have basically contributed to those negative aspects where we like to fast forward. And that's why a lot like I said, I could only go for anecdotal stories. Every time I spoke to fathers, like you said, they jump to us. They don't even talk about the infancy stage. They jump to like the child is 2 or 3 years old where they're doing things with the child. So I think,
because what are you going to say about the infant stage is different from any? Oh, the baby the baby
that,
sleep,
but
baby
I get that.
But there's no story to tell.
Let me connect this. What I'm saying is, the thing is, when you connect it to this particular movie, when you have Matt, who is now faced with a situation where he's a father and he's a father doing it alone, and you have an infant involved, immediately a lot of people are going to have concerns, because when you hear fathers speak about fatherhood, they never talk about the infancy. Whereas when I hear about mothers speak, they talk about the infancy stage.
And I agree with that, Cash, because that's what I was going to say. I'm glad you made that point, because I was going to say the problem is guys don't talk about the infancy stage. If they talk about the infancy stage, like, yo, when I put my child on my chest and we have skin to skin contact, man, it's the greatest thing ever.
Thank you, Smith.
They don't talk like that. So that's why all the same thing that I said at the beginning what Kel said, it's this.
Well,
men talk about down the road, they're not talking. But if men talked about the infancy stage, like, yo, changing a diaper is shitty, but I'd be shooting basketball with that motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if they talk about it more and make the experience if they make the experience different, I think more men would say, we're not trying to skip the infancy stage.
I completely
See, I disagree with that. I disagree with all of that, because the whole thing is, from what I've always heard from women when they talk about, the infancy stage, they're talking about the breastfeeding, they're talking about how they change diapers. They're always, it's more of a me thing when I hear women talk about they're not talking about the child. They're talking about all the things. They talk about the dependency of the child and everything that the child needs from them. And it's more of a I don't want to say it like this, but I don't have the better words for it. It's more of a self-centered thing where, I do this for the child and I do that for the child and I'm this and I'm that, blah, 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 me. It's not really about the child.
But there's still a nurturing aspect to it.
Is it really nurturing, or is it more of the fact of you are dependent on me for food, clothing, shelter, this, that, and the other? And I'm not saying that it's not, I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't hear women talking about the child as a individual who has developed their own better words, individuality. It's more of the chores that they do for the child.
I don't know, because and
think about it.
Well, let me say this though. When I hear mothers talk, and once again, we're all sharing our own anecdotal stories. When I hear mothers talk, or when I see mothers, it's the mothers doing like these infant play dates. I've never seen a group of fathers saying, "Yo, I'm going to take my infant child and do play dates." Like
Yeah,
you
because
don't.
the father's at
But
work.
let me finish.
All right, go
Mothers
ahead.
are working too.
Yeah,
Like the whole
mothers are
point is
working too.
you
You
too.
can't use the excuse of that
Come
working
on,
thing.
yeah, exactly, Smith. And I
I
love
don't like that.
I love what Smith said. You like the whole having your infant be pressed against your skin. I love, like, Smith. That was beautiful. And I'm saying this. I hear more mothers, single mothers, have these sort of conversation, do these sort of infant child play dates where I don't see fathers doing. And you can't say you're working 24/7 when you can't find other fathers to do these things with.
No, we all waiting for
Hold
them
up,
to
hold up.
turn 2
One,
and 3
you're
and 4
not.
and 5 years
You're
old.
hold
Exactly,
up. Time
Smith.
out. You're
Exactly,
comparing
Smith.
apples to oranges. You're comparing apples to oranges.
How am I comparing apple to
So hold
oranges?
on.
You talking about
Let
two
me explain.
parents?
Let me explain. Calm. Breathe. All
I
right.
am breathe.
You just said single mothers, right? Single mothers are common. Single fathers are not. So for you to say, well, single fathers out there, how many single fathers do you really see?
All right, you don't even have to be a
So
single father.
now,
How
hold
about
on,
being a father,
stop.
period?
Okay, being a father, period. Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? Being a father, period. If you're in a dual family or mother and father dynamic, right? Whole thing is 9 out of 10 times, and I'm telling you from experience, all right, what I see all the time and what I'm living all the time, all right. You just remember, Cash, you're not a father, so you don't know what the
Okay, but no,
experience is.
hold on.
Let me
I
let me
just said,
make
yo,
let me make it
everyone is
clear.
sharing their
Let me
anecdotal
finish.
stories. Go ahead, bro.
I got that. But let me finish my point. Whole thing is, from being a father and seeing where all these things go, the mothers typically do set up play dates and this, that, and the other, blase, blase, for 2 reasons. A, so they can socialize amongst themselves as well, not just for the kid, all right? And then B, also, it's a way to get a break from their kid.
I'm about
It's
to
like,
say
oh,
it's a
if
way
I
to get
send
break.
my kid over to Georgiana's kid, I get a break from my kid for a little while. So
Yeah.
it's a systematic thing. Most of the time, if you and I go, I've gone to many of these things. The father's typically at work. The father's typically at work during these play dates. These play dates are usually in the middle of the day or something. They're not like, they're doing mostly work hours. Other than that, like when a kid gets to a certain grade or whatever, like say my son, 8, 9, 10 years old, it's a weekend thing. And the whole thing is you're sending your kid to somebody else's house to play. And you know what? Both parents are home.
So
But if they decide, hey, Kara's gonna take Tyler over to Mateo's house. Kara takes Tyler over to Mateo's house, and then she hangs out with Jody and socialize.
So
But aren't they? Oh, go ahead, Kev. My bad.
I'm just gonna say this as a dog owner. Shub, I definitely agree with the social aspect, but then I also enjoy seeing the fact that the dog is having fun and he's interacting with other dogs, and then we have conversations on how to make shit better. So you can't tie that same. I mean, I feel like you can tie that same logic to having a kid. As a father,
And
I'm gonna meet with other
fathers.
I'm gonna set up other dates, play dates with fathers.
Exactly.
We're
Kev.
gonna have our mail time, but then we're also gonna talk about, dang, your little man is doing X, Y, Z. Mine does too. What are you doing? You so and so and so. Like that's
Well, the
part
biggest thing with that, let me
when
say
those
this,
play
let me say
dates
this.
come in fact with fathers, typically the same one that you already spoke about, sports. That's when you
Yeah.
see all the
but
But
fathers
this
out
is
there,
this is the
and then the
this is
fathers are
this
the
is the
ones. The
caveat to
fathers
that.
are the ones taking their
So,
kids out there. They're the
no,
ones
the
that
problem, listen,
they're the ones
I'm gonna tell you
coaching
what
their
the
kids.
problem is. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. Google it yourself. You're gonna see that there are only about 5 prominent father support groups in America. If you Google it for women, you're going to see that there's hundreds of thousands of support groups.
Once again,
and
like I
probably 1,000 of them are prominent. You know what I mean? So the support is there. Now, you got to remember this, and I'm going back to the movie of Fatherhood. He went to a parent support group, and they told him
it's for women.
it was for
mothers
women.
only.
Yeah.
And he said, this is bullshit. I'm a parent, and the sign says parent. You see how this works?
Yeah.
So even when you see a male trying to take care of his father, you still don't respect that. Even when you see a male with a child of his own, the first thing that they was asking him was what? Where's her mother? And he kept lying because he ain't want to go through all that, But why are you asking me where's the mother? I'm here with the child. I'm the father. You see how that works?
Now I see how that works. I just think that we could just move on to the next question. Next question.
It just seems like It just seems like you're diminishing that fathers, put in their work. It's just a fact of
their work.
I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm not saying it just seems that way because the whole thing is, most fathers' work with their kids is never seen on the forefront or never highlighted. It's only the mothers ever highlighted.
Dude, I didn't even say anything close to that. What I'm saying is what Kelvin mentioned, we play a role into that. And Smith made an excellent point in his own, personal story is, you don't hear fathers share those infancy stories.
No,
at all.
No,
you don't.
But with who?
But dude, with any,
because here's the thing.
Schubert, let me answer the question. Let me answer the question.
Go ahead.
You celebrate Mother's Day at a clip that's so much more prominent than what we celebrate Father's Day. So society plays a role, and our thing is we have to break that down. And all I'm saying is, from where I hear people say, "I can't wait till they get a certain age," and I'm saying we got to break that down.
Exactly, Smith, and that's what I'm.
We're still going to be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna start playing with my child when they get this age," and it's like.
That's exactly it. That's Smith, you just answered it. It's because every time I speak to a father, I'm telling you, almost zero. Shit, I just told you, I have a friend, Jason. He said he loves being a father, but he's looking most forward to when he's 2-3 years old. We're doing it to ourselves. That's what I'm saying. There's some accountability in that narrative about being a father. It's just like Smith said, we need to stop fast forwarding these children's lives and say, we enjoy every aspect of being a father from day one.
But you said he enjoys that. You said that he enjoys being a father. He's just saying that the thing that he's looking forward to. Why is that wrong for him to say?
I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's how society take that information.
But you know what? How society take the information is on them. If you are a father, you understand the experience. Those that are not fathers, like whether it's a male who's not a father or a mother or a female, that's their perception. But any other father that has put their time in understands how that father feels. And the whole thing is the whole thing is the fact of the conversation is always told how a father should be a father from people who are not fathers.
In this situation,
women and men.
Hold on. In this situation, no one is talking about you being a non-parent trying to educate someone who's not being a parent. We're talking
You're telling
about
a father that he should be talking about how great the infancy stage is. Why not? Why not the teenage stage? Why not the adult stage?
Smith, go ahead, brother.
Cass said he doesn't hear those conversations from fathers.
So what? That's their preference. Does not mean that they're not good fathers.
Listen, and Cash is saying. I respect all that, but I don't hear that from fathers. I hear a lot of fathers saying they're waiting until they get to this age. Now, is that really a father thing, or is that a thing that has been somehow put in your head because all the fathers keep saying this? That's all.
Exactly, that's it.
It doesn't make it right or wrong.
All right.
It doesn't make it right or wrong.
I'll use that same argument.
I wanted to say this part. A lot of people aren't going to be built like Matt. A lot of people are going to go out with their boy and party and drink and turn up. Everybody is different. So we're trying to lump it into one whole thing, but people are different. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And conversations will be different based on those people. Everybody don't go hard for their kids, even if they say they are. You know that shit. Like, it is what it is.
It's true and absolutely true. But what I'm saying is the fact of, we're demonizing that a father says, "Hey, I look forward to when my kid can recognize what I do for them."
Not demonizing it.
No one's demonizing it, bro.
Okay, not demonizing it. Not demonizing it. All right.
But we're just stating an observation.
Okay, you're stating an observation that doesn't justify diminishing, what a father can do for their child. Even if you say, listen, I'm looking forward to this part, that doesn't mean that I'm not good at doing the other part. It doesn't mean that I don't want to do the other part or I have any issues with doing the other part. I'm just saying I'm looking forward to this part. If I'm looking at a movie and I say I can't wait to get to the chase scene, does not mean I don't understand I need to watch the plot development.
I get what you're trying to say, Shu, but I think you're missing what I'm saying, what Smith is saying, and even what Kelvin is saying. We're simply saying is if you just have more fathers even talk about the infancy stage of raising a child, I think the perception will be light.
Okay, let me talk about it. Tyler
For
took
more
a shit.
fathers.
Let's talk about it.
Let's move into the next story. No, we're gonna move on to the next question.
What is there really to talk about?
No, but dude,
we're just saying that if it was spoke about in a more natural state, the same way that more men speak about waiting longer.
Talk about
dude,
for a man?
All right, for me,
it's the same way that a female talks about whatever they talk about. A male can talk about what he wants to talk about.
But like I said, if you actually listen to the details of what women say about the infant stage, they talk about the chores of it. Oh, I'm not getting any sleep.
Some talks about the joy.
So the some that talk
as
about
a whole, this is what females
talk
talk about.
You see how there's a bit of hypocrisy here.
No, it's not no hypocrisy, bro.
Time out. When it comes to women, it's some say this, but when it comes to father, all say that.
Hold on, but no one said that though. Because when I was talking about mothers, I talked about mothers in regards of the joy of it, and then you try to correct me and say like, well, it's two things that mothers really do, and I'm saying like, yo, I don't hear those conversations when I hear mothers being mothers to infant child. You try to impose, but no, you're trying to impose your anecdotal sort of statistical study on in regards to like how all mothers think when it comes to infancy, and I'm saying like, okay, well, when it comes to fathers, I don't hear that. Like the way Smith talked about having his child pressed against his skin and what that emotionally does to him, I hardly, from my anecdotal experience, hear fathers by and large talk in that manner. That was a very sentimental gesture Smith shared. I don't hear a lot of fathers talk like that.
Okay, so because fathers don't share private sentimental moments, it means that they don't.
It helps though, bro.
No, that's not what we're saying.
I'm confused.
That's it. Like, it's not that we're saying that they don't have those moments. We're saying that if they talked about those moments more, then more men might. That's what we're saying. That more men might be speaking about the earlier stage as opposed to saying, I'm just waiting to this. Maybe more men would talk about the infancy stage, but men as a whole don't talk about the infancy stage. Most men, when they're talking about, I can't wait to my son starts T-ball. I can't wait till my son gets in Little League. You know what I mean? It's those thoughts instead of saying, if they talked about it more for a younger father, if you and I are having a conversation and Kel is getting ready to have a child and we're having a conversation about raising a child, he get takeaways from that. You know what I mean? He might not do everything that we're doing, but he can get some takeaways because we're having a discussion. He doesn't have to wait until his son gets here and say, let me find books and things like what some dads try to do, because this knowledge is different now.
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. If men start talking about these sentimental aspects of the infancy stage of raising a child, then society would think that men were better qualified as parents. Is that what we're saying?
I think society by and large will have a different perspective on fathers,
and I think
on single fathers in particular.
I think over some years down the road that might change.
Exactly.
If that wording had changed. You know what I mean?
Because the biggest
I think it would change.
The biggest impediment of men in general, not just fathers aside, being a father aside, but the biggest impediment about men is, by and large, we don't share our emotions.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so that serves as a negative towards us. So now when you insert fatherhood into the situation, and you don't have, if I don't hear enough of Smith out here talking about those stages in life, I don't know, like, I don't know. Society just don't see fathers in that light. And I would love to hear more stories like Smith even sharing that.
So let me ask a question. Is it more that fathers are having an impact on society, or society's having more impact on fathers? Because, here's the thing. And most of the stuff that I've heard you say is that TV dad bullshit that we all watched on television. It's not
TV dad bullshit. Because
no. It's just my opinion.
But I'm telling you, people who I've never once even espoused any TV.
I know
reference.
you didn't
I'm
say
talking
that.
About,
I'm using that as a cliche. I'm saying the cliche thing about being a father. All right, because I've had interactions with other fathers, good long conversation with other fathers, this, that, and the other, and we've talked about a variable of different things, but But the whole thing is, if that is the case, is it the fact of that men have not shown this, or is it that society is built in such a way that men aren't allowed to show that? Because at the end of the day, when you think of who's supposed to be the strong one, who's supposed to be the stoic one, who's supposed to be the aggressive one, who's supposed to go out there and make the money and make all things happen, this, that, and the other, we don't think of the woman.
All right, but
is it because of us, or is it because society has ingrained that in us?
That's the chicken and the egg conversation. The way you're proposing that, it sounds like a chicken and which came first. To be honest, I don't know which came first. I'm just dealing with it now, and I'm saying this in my own anecdotal experience. I don't hear enough Smiths out here versus to the number of other fathers I've spoken to. And I'm not talking TV shit.
I think that now it's changing, though. I think it's going to take, listen, you didn't just get here overnight. It's going to take 50, 60 years before the whole mind shift changes. But when you got two moms in the house, there's no dad there. When you got two dads in the house, there's no mom. I'm just saying, we've changed the family structure. The family dynamic has changed. So we talking, but everything is changing. You know what I mean? Do I hold on to these old traditions? Are they old American traditions? Or are they old African traditions? Probably not old African traditions, because those were ripped away from us. But if I'm holding on to these traditions, then I hold that mentality to that man is still the breadwinner, and woman is the gatherer and the nurturer. You know what I mean? If I hold on to that, there are females who make more than men. I'm just saying, like, the dynamic, the family structure in the whole has changed. It just has. So to say that you might have fathers who are talking like that, Cash, we don't hear it because you're not in those circles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're not in the circles of new fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Black Zeus not a new father. I'm not a new father. We're more like seasoned fathers now. You know what I mean? We've done that gambit up until then. My daughter will be 13. I'm getting ready to hit that teenage year. So it's like that's a whole different step now. Now I'm going to another stage. But I think so much has been laid down. The foundation has been laid so great that I think this next stage will be easy. But I think that's the thing. We don't hear those conversations because we're not in those groups, and we're not looking for them. If you're not looking for them, you're not hearing them.
Yeah.
If you talk about the average Joe dude is more than likely going to tell you, "Oh, I'm about to have a baby, but can't wait till this baby is this age." You know what I mean? Because that's what we've been like relegated, or that's just what we do.
Yeah.
Because that's how we talk as men. Like, oh yeah, when your son get 2, he gonna be doing this. And you go, yeah, I can't wait till he get that age. It's like, all right, that's cool. To each his own, man. Yeah. If you want to be a father, be a father. That's all.
Yeah.
All right, next question. This is Mr. Henry himself. He's been sitting there idly quiet.
I don't know why Kelvin even part of this book club. He never participates in the conversation. He just
if it affects jobs,
I'm gonna wait for these niggas.
That ain't true. I'm
out of here 10:45. I'm out here 10:45. You're not even participating, man.
It's 10:55. All right, let me get to this question. If it affects job performance, what role should the job play in ensuring a healthy work-home life? Careers only, not regular schmegular ass jobs. So basically, what's the role of employers in regards of providing a healthy work from home life balance?
Let me be the first one to answer that. Zero, nada. Because you know what? If you're not going to provide it for regular schmegular ass jobs, because my parents worked regular schmegular ass jobs, like a janitor and a nurse's aide, and you know what? They made it work for 9 kids. So if they don't get a pass, fuck, Kel, his career and his non-regular schmegular ass job.
A janitor's not a career?
Your kid is your problem.
Your dad didn't get medical and dental?
Okay, and so what? That's still not
that's a career.
That's a career.
No, medical and dental don't make it a career.
No, I was gonna say those are benefits, dude.
Yeah, those are just benefits. That don't make
career means the fact that there's a path you can go up. You can go up the scale.
I agree with Hubert on this.
Get more out
exactly.
Of the job.
That ain't
all right.
Okay, so fuck it.
It's called a dead end job, dude.
That's a dead end job.
That's a regular. That's a regular schmegular job.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If the regular schmegular don't get a pass, nobody does.
I agree with Schubert on this, man. I don't think it's you're starting to see this shift where a lot of companies are trying to make way
Make
of
it work.
make it work, but it's just like I'm with Schubert. It's just like, look, this is a choice you made. Like at the end of the day, and I don't think that's up to the employer to make sure that your personal life, you have this sort of like work-life balance. Is it nice? Absolutely, it's a nice perk. But like if a job says, we're not gonna necessarily do all the things that you would like for us to do so that your home life could be better, then it is what it is.
And it depends on how good you are at the end of the day. You know what I mean? If you're that person, we're gonna make it work for you.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn if you regular schmegler. If you that person that makes this building work or make things tick and tock,
that's true.
We gonna bend for you. This is the world. This is how the world works. You know what I mean? So no, but a lot of the Amazons and people they're making it again. You all got to remember we're in 2021, so things are changing. We're not in the 1950s, so they're making it. They're making it a way where you can work. And have a healthy home life work environment. They're making it like that because they want that and they want good people. And if you're good, they're going to find a way to keep you. I don't give a damn what kind of job you're working. If you're good, they're going to find a way.
So then that's the role that they play. If you're worth keeping, then they make it happen. I mean, when I think about certain countries and even some jobs here, but certain countries don't really push however many hours. They give however much vacation time so that the quality of life is higher. And then as a result, the employees, I don't want to say necessarily happier like that, but I mean, they do end up being happier.
You're right. Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I can still do this job. Even the company that my wife works for, they give her unlimited paid time off. But you don't have people taking advantage of it. It's with the understanding that, okay, you're going to do the job that needs to be done. But if you're saying that you need time to do whatever, you can still get that same time.
Hey, something that you just said, key and point though. Yeah, you can have unlimited paid time, unlimited unpaid time off.
Okay, so you gonna elaborate? What you mean?
So, two things. One, they have an app called Winolo. One of my students was telling me about, right? It's Winolo, where you can find a job for the day, you can find a job for a week, you can find a job for months. And it tells you exactly how much money you're going to pay. WONOLO, right? Tells you exactly how much money you're going to make. So for me to give your wife untimed, she can take as many days as she wants because I'm not paying her. So it doesn't affect my bottom line. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And when she decides to come back, see, that's a whole different thing, Henry. When she decides to come back, we'll still have a position, but I'm not paying her, so it doesn't affect me. I go through Winolo or something, and I get somebody to work in her position, and I pay them. So I'm not affected by it.
Unlimited.
So she can take 5 years off if that's what she wants.
No, unlimited.
She doesn't get paid, so it doesn't matter.
No, it's the other way around. Unlimited paid time off.
Oh, she get unlimited paid time off?
Yeah, that's what he said.
You get paid.
Okay, I missed that.
So she can take 6 months off and get paid.
Yeah, I mean, I know that comes with a caveat. No. Like they understand, like the expectation is that people don't take advantage, and that's why it's still working. In place. Yeah, because people don't do it. It's like, okay, you have a job that needs to get done, so I'm not going to take off however much time and then like the work is just sitting here. Like I'm going to take the time if I need it. In addition to, okay, I'm going to take this vacation, but if I take the time, I know that I need it. And I mean, I don't know that, and I keep saying Europe. I could be wrong, but I know the work day in Europe, even where they take like the siestas in the middle of the day, is that really affecting their bottom line that much?
Well, let me ask you a question, Kel. You own a home. You want to get the floors redone in your house. You hire a carpenter to do the floors. He says, okay, I can do the floors in 3 months. Take me 3 months to do the floors. And then, he's charging you $25 an hour or something. He says, and then he shows up with his 3 kids to the job. Are you okay with that? Because he can't afford the daycare. Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
His 3
as long
kids
as
running. You're okay with his 3 kids running around your house?
as long as
Actually,
they're
I
not.
had a situation like that with my contractor brought his 2 kids. They was just chilling in one of the
I
rooms.
say as long
The
as they're
work was
not
still
knocking
getting
shit
done.
over,
I was fine with it.
As long as they're not knocking the stuff over, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
And I mean, I
Yeah, as
think
long as they ain't stealing
Okay,
shit, I wouldn't have a problem.
Okay, now take into effect. We're not talking about like 8-year-old kids or 10-year-old kids that maybe sit in the corner and play a video game. We're talking about infants.
Okay, now that's different.
That's a difference.
Yeah, that's a difference.
We're talking about infants. We're talking about between
talking about
infant to, let's say, 3 years old.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with
Black
it as
Zeus,
long as it's not.
You got an issue with it. Yeah, you do. Hey, Black Zeus, this is the answer
as
to
long
that
as
question.
it's not disrupting my everyday.
You're not going to be able to work today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's not going to be. Yeah.
And plus, by the way, don't forget you're an employer, and don't forget you're the employer, and they're in your house. So if them kids get hurt while he's doing work, you're held liable.
Well, that's different.
That's what companies have to go through. That's what companies have to go through. So it's the same way your home is your business. Your home is your business, and if anything happens in your home, you're held liable. If a child comes to work to my place of business, and the whole thing is that employee or whoever, that child gets hurt, I'm held liable.
Yeah.
Even if you sign a waiver, even if it's put in writing, the job is not responsible for any loss.
Have you seen the U.S. legal system? They would
still sue you. That would not be nothing.
Yeah, the U.S. you cannot rely on that waiver, bro.
Okay, so scratch, but you're paying the scenario.
You sign up for your insurance and you can't sue, but you can still sue your insurance. So don't go with that one.
But the scenario that you paint, Shuba, is that the kid comes to work. How about I can't find a babysitter today, so I have to stay home.
Okay, cool. So now here's the thing. Okay, but here's the thing. The job is not a work from home job.
Situation. Yeah.
He has to come to your place to work. So now he's only halfway through the work. I can't find a babysitter.
I got it. So now what if it is a job where he can stay home though?
But how many jobs are like that, Kel? How many jobs are like that? We just went through this whole thing in the pandemic.
Yeah,
that was around 30% of jobs that you can actually do from home.
Yeah,
that's white collar jobs. Majority of America is blue collar jobs.
So you had over 50 million people unemployed.
Regular smegular jobs.
So what you're saying is okay. So fine. So the regular schmegular jobs don't get it. That's what I prefaced.
See, so you're saying only 30% of the population should get that pass, while the other 70% that are busting their ass to work for you to give you the benefits of...
Everybody's busting their ass. It's just that certain people get, other person they don't. I chose a job where there's an option where I can work from home. You didn't. That doesn't mean I'm luckier. That doesn't mean I'm more educated.
It doesn't mean, but the whole thing is...
I chose. This is a work.
You are absolutely right, but the whole thing is your job is still relying on those blue-collar jobs. Those people building the roads. Those people fixing your cars. The infrastructure that goes around the life that you live.
That's understandable.
So if you don't give them a pass... society falls apart.
Because if you don't give, to Shuba's point, if you don't make those fields appetizing enough, what you're gonna have is an oversaturation of people going to try to work from home job situations, and then you're gonna have a shortage of people doing those.
So if my job can offer that perk, you're saying don't do it. So like, what's the difference between a job where I can call out because I have vacation time and jobs that don't offer vacation time, so they shouldn't offer vacation time too? Isn't that a perk of working at a certain job?
But this is how we have job shortages, though, because when one industry is much more appetizing, the other industry suffers.
So then we shouldn't offer perks because we don't want the other. I
don't think anyone's arguing the perks. We're just talking about the consequences.
But this is but having a job that's understanding of your healthy work life. Like if my job can be understanding of it, you're saying no, it's not fair because other jobs can't. I can be understanding. You can still produce the same way, but it's not fair because 70% of the population can't do it.
Let's say you couldn't get the job that you got. Would you be okay with the fact of you got fucked and you have to deal with your situation?
Bro, this job.
Let's say you did not get the job and you had to get a regular schmegular job.
Would I be
whatever
jealous?
reason.
Would I be jealous? No. Shoot, but there's
No,
a whole
I didn't
bunch
say
of-
jealous. No,
I'm sorry. Would I be
say
what? I'm
jealous.
sorry. What was the word?
Would you feel that that is a fair deal?
No, it's not fair. But there's people
Okay.
who have certain jobs who get perks that I don't get, and I don't walk around saying, "Oh, it's not fair. I should have did that job."
I would say
I think
this.
it's fair that I work 12
I get what you're
hours.
saying with
do I
that
think it's fair that I still
Yeah,
work
we all
12
would like
hours
to
a
work at
day?
Amazon headquarters.
I work 12 hours a day just like a nurse, and they only got to work 4 days a week and get 3 off, and I got to work 5? No, I don't think that shit is fair. Do y'all feel like it's fair? Oh, well, teachers get summers off? No, but that was the job that we chose. My job has this perk, and if my job can offer the perk, it's not fair because other jobs can't. That shit don't make no sense when it's already that way.
Yeah, you're gonna have inequality.
Is it fair that NBA players get paid as much as they get, and them niggas get food stipends when they get to be on the road, and they get in the clubs for free? No, but that's what them niggas get. Those are perks. Those are job perks.
I will say this in regards to work-life balance. There's been multiple studies that made a connection as to why the millennial generation, certain Gen X's, but particularly the millennial generation, and now we're entering the Zennials, why they're not having kids is the lack of a work-life balance.
Yep.
There's one of the contributors to, in addition to being fucking drowning in a shit ton of student loan debts, the aspect of like having to work and not have the ability to have to come home and have to try to take care of a child, it seems mentally exhausting to a lot of people. So I think a lot of employers do, if you're concerned about population and population growth, I think that is something that employers do need to consider in regards to.
What about just the overall mental health and the turnover rate of your job? Shuba, you're saying even if the job can offer it, don't do it because it's not fair to the jobs that can't. That's your stance, Shuba?
What I'm saying is the fact of, I understand when a job or a company says, well, if the situation's too much for you, you can't handle it, you having kids, that's your choice. You don't have to work here. I'll get somebody else who doesn't have a kid, like one of these millennials who doesn't have a kid, to replace you and do your job. That's what I'm saying. It's not the company's obligation to suit you and your family life.
But
I agree with that.
But if they can,
yeah, I agree with that. And if that's what you're looking for, then you need to find a company that does that. Because there are companies that do that.
I got you.
Like
so they shouldn't.
Companies that put the family first.
It's not their obligation.
I got
That's all I'm saying.
So they shouldn't
be. If they want to do it, cool, but they're not obligated.
They're not exactly. I agree. Next question.
I can agree with that.
Today, this is the last question, and we're gonna give our review. Today, do single fathers have an easier time finding a quality partner than single mothers? I was watching this. I was watching this with my wife yesterday. Well, really last night, and her first takeaway. I was like, "What's your takeaway?" Because I want a question for the book club today, and she said, "My takeaway is, if this was a woman, she couldn't find a quality dude the way he was able to find a quality chick."
Agreed. And I think that's just because this nigga had the career that he had. So it's like, yo, I can take care of you and my kid. And even if you got a kid, I might be able to take care of 4 of y'all. Where it's like a guy, it's like, what is the flip side? It's like, do I really want to take on this chick with the kid? When I have other options and I don't necessarily have to, I could find a female who looks just as attractive as you without a kid. Because I'm still taking care of you. If it was the other way around, and for me, and it's just for me personally, if a woman had a kid and she had a job and she presented it like, hey, I can take care of you, my kid, and hold down the household, and you just be like the stay at home, whatever, I'd be more willing to do that shit. Straight up. But like, yo, I'm not working, busting my ass for you and your kid.
I don't think it's a fair question.
Yeah, I'm about to look back at the comments.
I don't think it's a fair question for the simple fact of, you don't have as many men in that situation where they actually have their kid. One, because most men, they might have a kid, but the kid is with the mother due to the court system that is biased towards women. But anyway, that's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's a different conversation. But if there were equal amount of men that were single parents as there are women that are single parent, and women had the option of picking a man that doesn't have a kid versus, I think women would do the same exact thing. Because there are women who have children and don't want a man with a child.
Yeah.
That's very common, believe it or not. They'll have 1 or 2 kids of their own and don't want a man with a kid.
But the question is, do single mothers have a much more difficult time in the dating market today than single fathers?
Do they have more?
In
Yes
regards
and no.
of finding a good partner, not like some.
In finding a good partner, that
quality.
Yeah, quality partner.
That is subjective.
Well,
that is subjective. It all depends on how you define. Like if I felt like if I was out there in the market looking for a woman to the caliber of, let's say, my wife, to be the mother that she is and be the nurturer that she is, and to take my kid to all his sports, and and make sure that dinner's on the table every night, and take photo. Yeah, I don't think I'd find the caliber of a woman of like my wife. I don't think I'd find a common, that would be an easy thing to do. But like, do I think I could find a woman? Yeah, sure. Sure. A woman? Yeah, sure. But to a certain caliber, would depend how you define your quality. Because some people might be like, oh, she's home with the kid. She ordered a pizza. Well, that's your level of quality. My level of quality is, no, she was home with my kid, homework was done, and she made dinner. See what I'm saying? Quality is subjective.
Well, and sticking to the movie, Liz Swan, however she want to refer herself in this book, Hank, whatever. She was dope. Yeah, she was dope as shit.
Yeah,
she was dope.
To find a woman like that, hard.
She was beautiful.
Yeah,
that's hard.
That's what I was going to say. And
go ahead, Smith. My bad, brother.
No,
go ahead, brother.
But she wasn't a single mother either.
That's what I'm saying. But regardless, I'm just saying, like, I think the question is, and I'm leaning towards what Kelvin is saying is, I think single fathers definitely have an easier time finding a good quality chick than it is for a single mother to find a good quality dude.
Really? Then why are 51% of black men single and childless?
I think it might be
all of these quality women are out here.
I think it might be easier for a single mother to find a quality partner.
No, I don't think so.
Well, you're not single, so you just talking out your ass. I am actually a single father, so I'm.
Oh, Smith, say your comment again. You say you think it's easy for a single mother?
So I think it's easier for a single mother. Yeah. You got to understand. So
you talking as a single father, Smith? How you speaking for single women?
Because the question is, do single fathers have an easier time finding a quality partner than single mothers? And I think single mothers have an easier time finding a quality partner than a single father does.
The pool is bigger.
Why do I think that? Because, well, one, see, the only thing that people are missing is for a single father, and we're going to say like what what Cass said about the single father. He could be a single father, but he might not have his kids with him. So if you're looking at the part of the single father being able to go out more and have more opportunities in the dating market, he probably will have more opportunities than the single mother because she's probably the one at home with these kids if that's the dynamic of that house, right? Second part is it's going to be easier for a single mother to probably find a quality because she can kind of wade through that stuff. Guys know if you have a child, they might be coming around. We're guys, so we know what that is. But for a single father to find a quality chick, you know how many chicks you got to go through? You know how many games these females are going to be playing for you? If you're in a situation where you are met and you're making money, do you know how many games you got to go through to find a quality single mother?
Mm-hmm.
No, but you're not looking for a single mother.
You're looking
for a single mother to find a quality girl.
I don't know, because 3 out of the 4 people on this panel said that they was not dating women with chicks when they were single.
Dating women with kids.
Chicks with kids, exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
And I feel like that's how majority feels in the standpoint of a single mother. The guy coming into the situation has to deal with the kid.
Oh, so you're saying who has more options, men or women? Is that what you're saying? You're saying
who has the better outlook to find a girl, to find a quality partner?
As far as who has the better options, men do. But that's also because men are the key to relationships. If men choose not to wife you up, girlfriend you up, you don't have any option in that.
And to back what Kelvin is saying, when we got to look at the one guy who was risen in popularity in YouTube is this Kevin Samuels. When you look at Kevin Samuels' catalog, he has dropped at least 10 videos on why high value men shouldn't date single mothers. And I'm just saying, like,
not why they shouldn't.
Not why they shouldn't. Why they don't want to. Yeah.
Why they don't want to. No, he has one why they shouldn't. He has a video, and I will share it. He has a video on why high value men. He's talked on plenty of other platforms on why high value dudes shouldn't be dating single mothers. And I'm saying that you're seeing this messaging a lot from dudes who are quality, dudes who are respectable, and I don't hear that. I don't hear that with women. I don't hear women who are about their shit saying, like, I wouldn't date a single father. I'm hearing more so a lot of dudes saying I wouldn't date a single mother. Despite
my ex-wife got a dude. He don't have any kids, and she has 3.
Do you consider him a quality partner? Like, does he bring? Is he a quality dude?
He brings it to the table for her. Yeah.
Okay.
For her.
Yeah.
I don't know what levels of quality we're talking about. Again, we can't just pigeonhole.
Exactly. That's why I said it's subjective. Quality is subjective.
Quality in the sense of, like, I don't know. I think when we think of quality, somebody who's going to hold down the.
Let's. All right. So let's put a basic standard on quality.
On quality.
When we say quality, we mean somebody who is caring, dependable, and financially stable. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair. That's
fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, if you want to look at it that way, when it comes to, men have the power when it comes to a relationship. If they don't choose to wife you up, girlfriend you up, you ain't going to be a wife or a girlfriend. A man has to make that decision. Women have power to have access to sex. Men have access to relationships. That's just what it is.
Sure, but can I just say something real quick? Because y'all trying to keep me late. If I gotta keep looking at only Schubert's lips when this nigga talks, I'm gonna have to fucking go, bro. You better fix your camera so I can see your face too, bro. All I see is your lips, nigga.
Listen, don't get excited. I know you're getting excited.
I can't help it, bro. Okay, there we go. Y'all got me.
Why are you so focused on this dude's lips?
Seriously, I'm trying to listen to him, bro. I'm trying to listen to him, and all I see is this shit right here.
Dude,
you could
listen to my man.
Shut up and listen. You could just shut up and listen. At least, the whole thing is,
you gotta cut your camera off.
No one else.
Kel, at the end of the day,
bro.
At the end of the day, Kel, my microphone work. Okay, that's the most important thing.
This dude, I'm trying to listen, bro. But
all I see
is his lips, you mesmerized by my lips. I know you mesmerized. I told you. I know you like that sausage. I know you like that sausage.
That is the weird observation, bro. That's the weird observation.
What does seeing have to do with listening, man?
Exactly.
I'm looking at the dude while he's talking, bro.
Stop looking.
I'm about to get butt ass naked and answer my motherfucking question. I want to hear y'all niggas.
Ain't nobody looking at you.
I don't hear nothing.
All right, whatever.
Like if I got butt ass niggas, they be like, "Yo, Kel, fuck you doing, nigga?" It's the same shit with this nigga's lips, bro. That's all the fuck I see.
Oh God, I hate him.
Nigga, show your whole face, bro.
I hope your thought process wasn't interrupted, brother. Go ahead.
Yo, I can't with him. I fucking can't with him.
You were talking about we got a baseline definition of quality now.
So now that we have a baseline definition of quality, all right, baseline, and let's just say because we're all black and Kevin Samuels in this movie is a black man. The statistics have shown, right?
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, 3 out of 4 black women will be, pregnant or have a kid. One out of the 4 will be married. All right. So that means there's 2 chicks that are single with a kid, 1 chick that's single without a kid. 51%. All right. So that means, let's say 2 out of every 4 black men are gonna be single and not have kids, and 64% of them are in the middle class or better. Okay. So that means your options as a woman is much higher on the black side, as far as like what you can pick from. The only problem is that you can't pick them because they ain't gonna pick you. So your options are better. Our options are slim. We all want that 25%, that one chick that's, doesn't have a kid, that has all the qualities, and, and she's single. So the whole thing is worse for us because we only got that 25% to pick from, while you have a 51% to pick from.
Yes, yes.
Okay. You can't get around the math. You can't get around the math.
Yes, by percentage.
Percentage-wise, if you put everybody in the same barrel, if you put everybody in the same barrel, if everybody was equally the equal same quality, but you look at their scenario, 50% of the dudes are single, all right, and childless, while 25% of the women are single and childless.
Well, are those dudes checking for single mothers though?
No, but that's the thing. Most dudes are not checking for single mothers.
So how do you factor in that percentage?
If you're talking about but if you're talking about what dudes, want, we already said on this panel alone, we said 3 out of 4 of us would prefer a single and childless mother. Now the whole thing is, childless person. If you take her off the mark, you take that one chick off.
You know what though? But here's one thing that you're leaving out though.
Oh, well, then 4 out of 4.
No, but here's one thing that you're leaving out. How many more women in this world are there than men? So if there's 1 million men, for example, and there's 2 million women, that 25% is still just as much as the 50% of men.
Okay, so 25%. So the 25% of 50 million of 2 million women is 500,000 women. Right?
And then
so the 500, so the 51%, the 50% of men out of the million still matches the 500. So at the end of the day, that 500 is still looking out for that, for that other 500.
But what I'm saying, I think the problem is, you don't have, and granted, I would love to see a study on this, but you don't have a lot of single women who are nurturing, financially stable, and I forgot the third trait you listed. You don't have a lot of those women being vocal about not wanting to date single fathers. Whereas on the flip side, you have is not. But you're right. But I'm just saying, just in general, like my wife, she said that she will be open to because we were having these long out conversations. She's like, yeah, I date a single father who's, in that situation.
Would it be her preference? Would it be her preference?
It wouldn't be a preference, but she'd be open to it. Whereas you have a lot of single dudes who meet all of those traits, and they're saying, yo, I'm not even open to the idea of dating a single mother.
Okay.
So that's the but what I'm saying. I don't see
the problem.
So the problem is all the statistical numbers that you are throwing out there is compromised when you have those dynamics.
Okay, how many of those women are willing to say, I'm willing to date a man that's making $35,000 a year?
Shit,
I'll wait.
Right. You're right. Shit.
Well, you always saying single fathers, but how many
are saying I'm open to that?
Schubert, the stats that you throwing out, the 51%, them niggas are in the middle class, so they're not making 35. They're making more.
But I'm saying if you flipped it with women and said, how many of y'all are open? They're open to dating a man that has a child as long as he has resources. But let's say he doesn't have resources.
Oh, you're right.
Because there's a lot of women with kids.
Yeah,
there's a lot of women with kids without resources to support their own damn kids. So how many women would accept a man in a woman's position of being single and without resources?
That's what I led with. I said if a female came to me and was like, yo, I can take care of you, my kid, and myself, then I'd be more willing to do it that way.
But how many are there? How many are there of those that for a man to pick from?
I mean, it probably ain't that many.
Exactly.
That's why I say it's easier for a female.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Women could be broke. They can have children, and men will still pick them up. Flip it the other way around, not so much.
Yeah, I'm still talking. Hey, Cass, we're still going off the thing you said. Quality, man. You didn't say find a gold digger. You didn't say find a leeching motherfucker. Yeah. You said quality. That's not easy, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all telling me.
Because
what you want?
You mean to tell me you don't know? You don't know. You don't know a number. You don't know a number of chicks that have kids and are broke but still got a man.
But are they good dudes?
Yes.
No, but it doesn't matter. They got a man.
But the question is, like, are the dudes good dudes? Are they quality dudes?
Honestly, whole thing is a lot of the time, these guys are not necessarily quote unquote father figure, whatever, in our eyes, but they make enough money where this chick is like, oh, this nigga could take it. Well, this dude can take care of me and my kids.
But you know what though?
You're right. So the word quality is subjective, and that
it is.
Yes.
So all right. So all right. Let's do the Kevin Samuel approach thing. Is it easier for a single father to find? I don't know. Fuck it.
No, but they look for things. They look for two different things. Is it easier for a high value, single man to find a woman who's attractive, in shape, and can hold down a household than it is for a single mother to find a dude who's earning six figures? Because that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
The male is looking for somebody who's gonna make a good housewife, stay in shape, take care of the kids, cook, and support me. The female is looking for a dude who is making six figures.
I don't know, because here's the thing. It's like, and it is only because the circle that I run with, six-figure dudes are common to me. I mean, like, it's like, I don't know, maybe you have to make six figures to be in a six-figure club and have that be common dudes around you. But six-figure dudes are common to me. But like you said, fit, feminine, and friendly, not as common.
How many of them?
Yeah.
Huh?
How many of them are stepfathers? The six-figure guys who you know.
How many are stepfathers?
Yeah, meaning they took on a single mother.
Can I get two entourages?
Yo, can somebody mute it, please?
None of them.
Exactly.
Because they have the option.
Yeah, but
if the whole thing is they got the option to if you got the option to get a Mercedes, why would you buy a Hyundai?
All right, so let me ask you this question.
And I'm sorry, but these chicks that with kids and broke are Hyundais.
So let me ask you
last
this
thing, and Kevin got to give his thing before he drop off and everyone else drop off.
This question, Schubert. How many of those men have kids that they really are with their baby mamas, but they got other women? Whether it's like another
Say
girl.
that again?
How many of them have kids?
I'm loving them cheating, basically.
But they not with the moms, and they got another significant other. So maybe I'm divorced and I got a kid. Maybe I got a baby mama, but I don't talk to her. But I still got me another quality woman that I consider high quality.
Yeah, that's because men are the prize.
So that's just proving our argument. It's easier for the dudes.
I don't know if it's easier. Like, when I say easier, I mean finding that quality. I don't know if it's easier.
Yeah, I don't think it's easier.
I don't know if it's easier to find the quality. I think it's easier because the fact of that dude has put himself in a position that he has options. He has choices. Versus the dude that's a broke ass dude. Guess what? You gotta take the scraps, dude. You don't have a choice.
Sure, but I'm asking you specifically.
And even a broke ass dude could get a high quality chick though. That's the problem.
That's weird. Yeah.
Specifically in a circle of $100,000 dudes who you know, how many of them have kids and are with somebody else besides their baby's mother? Because you already said 0 of them are stepfathers.
Honestly, I don't know any dude that's in that club, as far as I'm thinking off the top of my head, that isn't with their wife or, I don't know any dudes because they have the option.
Yeah, and most dudes that's in that category are trying to stick that out and ride that out. Like,
they got options. Like, is it easier? I don't know.
What about your homeboy, the other trainer?
What about him?
He not in that situation?
As far as getting chicks?
No, as far as him having another quality partner.
Nah, he's not in that situation. Because most of the chicks that he come across don't fit his qualifications.
And that's why it's harder for him to find somebody.
They might be good. They might be good to fuck with, but they're not good enough to be like, a stepmom to his kids.
Exactly.
And he ain't trying to start over.
It's not easy to find, bro.
He got 3 kids. He ain't trying to start over, at 40 plus years old with no little kids and stuff and do a job all over again.
Mm-hmm. So it's all situational, but at the end of the day.
No, I know it was a situation. It was just a general conversation in regards. If we could have a general conversation, just because, based on how the conversation went with my wife, she was just like, well, it was easy for him to find a chick like Swan because, single fathers like Matt portrayed in this film could easily find someone like Swan, where it's like it can't happen on the flip side.
Well, first of all,
here's the thing: we're assuming that Swan's on that level.
For him to find her. Well,
you say, Smith?
It wasn't easy for him to find. He was set up.
That is true. He was set up.
Swan. He didn't find her.
Set up. That's true.
So
somebody pre-qualified her.
Oh, but hold on. I would say this though. Swan had to at least be open to the idea of dating a single father. How many dudes, bachelor dudes out here who are childless, who's making 6 figures and, have a good head on their shoulders will be open to Kelvin's point, open to dating a single mother. Swan was at least open to the idea of dating a single father. Not a lot of dudes out here who meet those traits are open to dating a single mother.
Yeah, this is true.
No, I find there's a lot of dudes open to dating a single mother. I know dudes
based on the criteria that we set
on the criteria. I think on the level of the man that you're talking about, it's like, listen, you can't have it all. At the end of the day, you can't have it all. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, do any of us think because we make 6 figures that we can get a supermodel?
No, but we're talking.
Okay,
but we're talking about. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think
so. Like, you can't have it all. Like, listen, it's just what it is.
I don't think we could get a supermodel, but I think I could find me an attractive young lady who stays in shape, who will hold down the house, who doesn't have a kid. You don't have to be a supermodel, but if I think
you really think there's that many of those out there. You really think there's that many
but
of those out there.
I think Kelvin is saying, like, if he was a single
she
dad,
does have to do it like you want her to stay in shape for you.
But I think Kelvin is saying, like, if he was a single dad, he could still find those qualities in a chick versus the other way around. I don't think as a single mom.
But here's the thing: it's a matter of the qualities that she's looking for you in as well. Because
understood, but we're looking at just the lens of the single parent. Like, who has the easier time finding the quality mate? But anyway,
have to ponder on that one a little bit more.
Yeah, I know it's difficult because look, but what I'm saying is, with the rise of Kevin Samuels and the material he's been putting out there and the reading I've been doing, I've seen a lot of dudes say no to single mothers, whereas I'm not sensing that type of energy from childless women saying that about single fathers. Like,
it's double-edged because
they're not putting that energy out there like dudes are.
I'm like what Black Zeus said though. Like, I wouldn't mind finding a single mother, but I ain't trying to have no kids with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's the thing.
So, like, to start that all over again, nobody's trying to do that.
Here's the thing.
But am I willing to date a chick that has kids or go out with a chick that has kids? How old are your kids? You got babies? You know what I mean? It's like, that shit is all, I don't know.
And here's the thing. You also have to look at the motivations.
You all know, remember, I make over 6 figures. Shit is not easy to find a quality woman. And I'm speaking from the experience that I'm living right now. That's just not easy, bro.
I get you.
Matter of fact, Smith,
to find a swan, that's like a fucking, what you call that shit? Catching lightning in a bottle, bro. That's just not easy. You know how hard it is to catch lightning in a bottle? That shit is not easy. To find a swan who's willing to take on that, and be motherly. That's not easy. You know, for one, you gotta wade through all of the bullshit right now. All of the what can he do for me shit. Like, that shit is not easy.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers want bad. Kevin Samuels talks about buying bitches bags that's worth cars. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah,
that's
I heard that.
Look
yeah,
forward to.
That ain't happening.
To find
and that's the thing.
So listen, to find somebody high quality, no, you got motherfuckers out here gaming. That's just not easy for a dude. It's easier for a female. I'm going to stick with that.
Because let's be for real. At the end of the day, these females are not looking at most dudes' character and, what dynamic they bring to a relationship. They're looking at, what your resources are.
All right. Well, all right. Let's wrap this up because we held Kelvin a lot longer. Hey, Kel, you still there?
It's
Give your rating, bro, for the movie.
It's the reason Chris Brown was able to beat up chicks.
What?
I hate him. I can't believe Kelvin, he said that.
Your rating for the movie, brother, before you drop.
Nobody wants to see that ugly profile picture of you.
Oh, yeah, well, I was just about to get up.
Yeah, that ugly ass picture.
Get that goofy ass profile photo out of here.
Calvin, what do you rate?
I don't want to see your lips in a suit.
Instead of me giving my rating for the next minute, why don't y'all just talk? Go ahead.
Come on, Cal. Could we please get Mr. Henry's rating?
Let's have your rating so you can get the hell out of here.
You know what? Fuck. When I leave this meeting, I'm ending this shit for everybody. Watch me.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
You can't, because I'm the host. Go ahead, brother.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
4 out of 5.
Hey, wait. I got one question for you. I don't want my question. Quick question: are we still using the same rating scale?
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's the same.
All right.
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. What's your dislike to not make it a 5 out of 5?
Man, I mean, honestly, the only thing I felt like could have been better that was unrealistic. The only thing, it might be minor. His mom needed to stand up a little bit to the fucking mother.
The mother-in-law.
Yeah. And she ain't really, I don't know. She was on some straight pussy shit. Yeah. And you know what they also could have did too? They could have put, I don't know, maybe that was a part of the premise as well. Like, where was that nigga's dad at?
He was a Rolling Stone, bro. They kind of touched on it.
Right, they did. That's what
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Before I bounce, am I up next for a book?
Yeah, you up for a book or a movie, whatever your choice is.
I ain't doing that movie shit. I ain't taking the easy way out, bro. I'm gonna send y'all these. I don't know if any of y'all read it or not. I don't think so, though. I think it's fairly new. I'll send it to you, though.
All right, next up. Thank you, Mr. Henry. You can drop off now.
Bye, Felicia.
Who's up next with their rating?
Well, before Smith get on there, So I give it a 3 out of 5.
Damn. All right.
Felicia.
Wait. What's your likes and dislikes, bruh?
I like that. It's a movie about fatherhood and how